Hey everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to fold my cat. Um, what we're going to do to start out is we're going to just fold the head portion from a smaller square, because the head of this particular model is really complicated. So we're going to do the head, and then after I show you the head, we're going to fold the whole model, including the head, with a slightly larger sheet of paper. So let's start. The first thing you got to do is fold the paper in half diagonally, both ways. So right now I'm using a 10-inch square of regular origami paper. It's also colored on both sides though, so it's a little bit thicker than normal origami paper, but that doesn't matter. It's pink on one side and blue on the other side. Okay, after you fold the diagonals, fold the square in half this way as well. Okay, now we're going to fold blintz. So fold all four corners to the center. Okay, now unfold two of these. Let's fold the paper. Let's fold the paper in half like this. And we're going to lift one edge up and squash it down. The same on the side. Now fold this edge into that little diagonal line on this side too. And the same thing over here. Okay, now you can unfold everything. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is you're going to pre-crease a bird base in the center square here, so that you can either individually pre-crease each bisector, or you can just fold the paper in half like this, fold the paper in half again like this, fold it in half one more time, like this. And now we're going to put a bisector through here. Like this. Try to keep the layers together so it doesn't shift. Okay. There we go. Now I've got that bird base in the center here. Now, find the point where this bisector intersects with the diagonal right here. See? And we're going to use that point, and we're going to fold a crease that goes parallel to the diagonal. So this crease, you find that point, you pinch down, line up with the diagonal. Now fold all the way to the right. See, I made this crease. And now fold only to the diagonal. You see the where this crease comes through, this crease, and stop right there. From here all the way through. See that? Okay, perfect. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. So make sure you get that point nice and neat. You can even go like this actually to make it even neater. Go like this. Then use this as your guide. Now we're only going to fold to right there. Okay. Now you can connect this point to this point. Where we ended that crease, connect it through across like this. Alright, we've made that crease and these creases. Okay, now we're going to fold this crease, the one that we made recently, to the diagonal and pleat, like this. This crease also does not need to go all the way. It stops right at this crease right here. See? I'm going to stop right there. From here over to the right. The same thing from here, right there, over to the left. Okay. So this pleat running through the center is going to give you all the details for the eyes, nose, and mouth. And then the ears will come from these corners right here. Alright, so now let's go ahead and we're going to put creases to make X's inside these squares here. So first I'm going to make this one that connects from this point and this point. So I just made that X. Now I'm making the X here as well. And then we're going to make them on this side as well. So we're basically connecting the middle of this rabbit ear to the middle of that rabbit ear. Alright, so now I've got all those creases in. Now we're going to put in some, this is where the creases get really small, and on the final model these creases are going to be really, really small. So it's good to practice on a bigger sheet and really know this crease pattern well, because otherwise you will not be able to fold it on a smaller sheet. So first we're going to put rabbit ear creases in between this triangle here. We're going to put the rabbit ear creases within it. So the first one is just an extension of this crease. But I think the easiest way to put this crease in is like this. You fold it in half like so, and then you identify these two lines, see? And then you fold line to line like so. Like this, see? Now we're going to do the same thing over here. So that's the result. And that'll help you distinguish between this half of the paper and this half of the paper. This half of the paper, the creases run all the way over there. And this side, the creases stop right here, and there's these two rabbit ears. This is the face side, and this is the body side. So we're going to basically be focusing on this lower quarter for the rest of the time now. Alright, so the next crease we're going to put in is a small crease that extends from this line, this point, sorry, see where this and this point, this line intersect, and it's going to go 45 degrees from that point. So I'm just going to grab here, like that, then make sure it's edge to edge. See? And now I'm pinching this crease just until here. You can see where this line hits that edge. That's all you need of this crease. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So just grab there. Now you can, if it's more comfortable for you, can fold these folds on the table, but I like folding in the air like this, especially when I'm doing the tutorials. Okay, so only crease from here to there. See where the line hits there? Okay, perfect. Now, we're going to fold this edge, or this folded line, to that folded line, right here. And that's going to intersect this point, the point we just ended on both sides. So you only need to fold that from about here to here. And you can see that the line touches over there. I did it kind of sloppily on this side. Let me try and fix that. There we go. Alright, so you can see how these guys all meet up. Like this. Alright, now you've put that crease in, we're going to make a new crease that extends from where this line intersects this diagonal. See this line right here? Actually, you know what we should do? Take this line right here and extend it to the edge. Like this. And the same thing on this side as well. Okay. Now what you can do if you want is you can fold this in half like this and then use the crease that you have here as a reference. Oh, and you're also folding this line that you can see to that line. See? Line to line. just like that, see? And the same thing on this side as well. So fold it like that, and fold line to line. Okay. Now finally, we're getting close to being done now. So we're going to put a crease that is a bisector. We're going to take this diagonal line and this line right here. And we're going to pre-crease it like so. And the same thing on this side. This crease only needs to go in between this quadrilateral shape here, from there to the corner. Like that. Then you're going to connect this point perpendicular to this edge. So you just grab that point where these intersect, right there, and then bring this edge to itself. Like that. Now I'm just doing the same thing again on the other side. And now you can make a crease that connects these 2 points together. You can see that's basically bringing this point to that point. Now finally, this is the last crease. We're going to make a crease that goes from this point, where these two lines intersect, out like that. And now make a crease that runs from this point, basically bring this corner to this intersection right here. That is basically all the pre-creases that you really need. You can also do this one. Here's one more pre-crease. Fold along this edge, and now this line folds through both layers. Fold through this line and fold through both layers. Alright, that's all the pre-creases for the head. Now we can collapse it. Alright, the way you collapse this is it begins with folding through the pleat and getting these little points in the center here. So this is the way that I do this. You fold through here and here. Remember, there's no crease over here, so try and keep that open. And now fold this in half, pull this out, and now you make this kind of shape. Push down, push down, just like so. Now the same thing on this side, just pull this out. Like that. Now, we're going to pull this point up, like this. Alright, but for starting from this from right now is when things get weird. You're probably not going to have done this kind of thing before. So the first thing you do is, instead of, usually you'd probably use this valley fold, and do something like this. And lay it flat. What we're going to actually do is we're going to shift to these creases which we pre-creased earlier. These two bisector creases. Like this. And then you're going to kind of be able to tell that this is the crease that you have to grab next. Bringing edge, folded edge, to this pre-crease right here. See? Like that. Now, you're going to grab this crease and this crease. So you see I've got these creases. And you can, this is a crease we did not put in. You could have put it in if you want. And you look at the crease pattern, you can see it there. But I don't usually put it in because it kind of just starts to happen. You can see it wants to make a crease that goes from this point to there and this point to there. It's a 22.5 degree crease. And you can just kind of let that happen naturally. Like that. And over here as well. See, from here, these two lines meet up and you can see they're equal length. And that's the third one. Right to there. Okay, now it lays flat, see? Let's zoom in a little bit. Alright, so let's open this up so you can get a better look at it. So these are the crazy creases that we've done here, see? Got these bisectors, this little mountain fold, this diamond shape, then this diamond shape kind of connects down to this pleat, and these are the two new creases that you just put in, these two valley folds. Let's take a good look at that. Alright, now I'm going to close it back up. Great. Now, this part, you can fold this in like so. Now, push in here and here, and bring this flap up. This makes the little mouth. See that little, this is the little cheeks, and that's the mouth, the upper jaw. And there we go. That's the chin. Alright. Very good. Very nice. Now we're going to work up here a little bit. So we're going to now pre-crease. You could have done also pre-crease this actually before. In fact, I probably should have. But it's also pretty easy to do right here too. So you're going to fold this edge to the center line. like this. And then fold this edge. Like that, see? I folded through all the layers, but if you did this earlier, you wouldn't have to fold through all the layers. You could just isolate this one water bomb. Alright, we're going to do the same thing over here. So fold edge to the center line. And then fold this edge to the center line. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to, actually this would be helpful as well. Fold it like a rabbit ear and make that crease, that hinge crease there. Just like that. You see we just added this little crease from here to there. Okay. Now we're going to basically turn this water bomb into a bird base, but not your average bird base. So you first grab the paper like this and you push down. I'm reaching in to undo that. There we go. A little too much. So yeah, I've got that. Now it won't lay flat at this point. So we need to we need to separate these layers like so. Like this. This is the hard part, I would say. Just kind of gradually swing this over. Okay, like that, see? And now we're going to do the same thing on the bottom here. Alright, I finally was able to do that. So you can see it's pretty hard to do that step. But it gives you this little flap here. Just like this. Okay. Now we're going to do that over here as well. So the first thing you do, you spread this out, like push this down like that. And that gives you this little flap right there. Just like that. Now this flap, you can't lay flat yet. You have to do the next part to make it lay flat. So, we're going to open this up, like so. So once you pulled this so it's straight like that, now it'll lay flat. Okay, that's the hard part for sure. Alright, so once we've got this is really the hard part that you need to practice. Once you can do this well, then you can go along to folding the full body. So I'm going to leave this like this for now, and now we're going to start on the big sheet. Okay, now we're going to fold the whole model. I'm using a 14-inch square of Japanese foil, and the finished model is going to look something like this. So look at that. It gets really small. And this is about as good as we can do on the head. In other words, this is too small to fold this model. I can't fold the bigger one because I can't fit the whole square in the camera's field of view. This is the biggest square of paper that I can use. But you can definitely practice the collapse of the body, the folds on the body, and the collapse of the head. And practice with this once or twice, and then move up to a 24-inch square, and you can get like the one on my website. Alright, so let's start. We're going to be pre-creasing all the creases and then collapsing, including all the pre-creases for the head. So let's start. The first thing we're going to do is find the reference point. So first, find the midpoint of this edge, fold point to point. Alright, now once you've got this point, connect this point and this point. So, just going to double check that point. Pretty good. Alright, now we're going to fold a kite fold. So we're going to bring this top edge to the diagonal, like this. Now we're going to bring this point to that point where the kite intersects. Okay, and now we're going to connect the point we just made on the edge to the corner again, from the same corner. Okay, so where this first crease intersects with the last crease that we made, this is the point that we want to be looking at. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with that point is we're going to fold the bottom edge to that point. I can hardly see it because I didn't make the crease sharp enough. So this 1/2 crease and that crease right there where they intersect. All right, now once you've put that fold in, you can run that through, here, let me, like this. So symmetrical about the diagonal. Okay, great. Now, I'm missing this diagonal, so I'm going to put this one through. Alright, so we have this crease, and then the diagonals. So now we're going to fold the corner in to this point. And to this point. Then we're going to fold this point perpendicular to the diagonal, like this. And the same thing on this side. Let's make sure it's symmetrical by going like this. All right. Now bring this edge to the crease line we just made. If you want, you can unfold this. Fold this to the crease line. Then change this crease over. Actually, let's leave it like that. And then fold this point to that point. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, and then this larger section. So I'll do it in reverse order. Fold this to this point. And then fold line to line. Using the outsides here and here for reference. Okay, now we're going to make a fifth section that's this wide. Or let me turn on the white side so you can see it better. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 sections of equal size. We're going to make a fifth section right here. So we're going to make a line right about there. So the way we're going to do that is make this crease a mountain fold. Then make this crease a valley fold, like so. You can do it on both sides. Actually, we'll do it one side at a time. And then we're going to fold through using the front layer for reference. And just make sure that it's all matching. And you can run that crease all the way through, like this. So I have something like this. We're going to do the same thing, so change this to a mountain folds. Then this to a valley folds. And fold this up to meet. Okay, so this is the most important division. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This narrow piece, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Once we have that, we can move forward. So fold in two sections, like so, and then we're going to fold point to point, like this. So if your reference point is accurate, at this stage you'll notice that the length of this portion is equal to the length of that portion. And there could be a line right like that, a bisector. But you don't need to put that in. But if it's off, you should just start again because you did something wrong. Okay. Now we're going to make a crease that goes from this point here to that point. So we're gonna make a little square here in the corner. Same thing on the other side. Okay, now we're going to fold this edge. So we have two sections right here, and there's three sections right here. We're going to fold this line to that line. So we're dividing this middle section in half. You only need to make this crease from the midline to the right. This is the tail side, and this is the head side. I'm doing the same thing on the other side. So you take two sections, we're folding it across three sections, dividing them in half. Only this way. This is the tail side, this is the head side. Now we're going to make a crease that goes from here, you see, so we can ignore this central layer of paper. This narrow pleat that runs through the middle, you can get rid of that if you want to for now. And here you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to make a crease that goes from this point to that point, and this point to that point. just like that. Making a little square here. You can open that up. Now, this is going to be a typical Elias stretch. So we're going to pre-crease those horizontal creases and the vertical creases for this Elias stretch. The first one will be grab the innermost row and fold edge to edge. And do the same thing on this side. Alright, so now we have this row and this row pleat in half. Let's switch this to mountain folds. Okay. Now we're going to do it on the outermost row as well. Actually, we're going to do all these rows. So go like this, then like this, and like this. Okay, so that's all the vertical creases. Now we're going to do the horizontal creases. So grab this crease right here. And we're going to fold this up one row. So you're matching points here. So I'm matching this point and this point here. And this point and this point here. You don't need to fold it all the way across because you don't need the crease in the middle here, but it doesn't hurt. Okay, so once you got that crease all the way across, turn over and use that crease to bring to that point. Alright, so at this stage we have put in all the 45-degree creases, pre-creases. Now we're going to put in the 22.5-degree pre-creases, all the bisectors. So we're going to start, we'll just look at this point right here, and we're going to put bisectors between each and every angle. So here's the first one. You can fold this bisector until it hits this line. See right there. Now we're gonna change this to a mountain. Like that, and here's the last one. like so. Here's where you're going to find out if your reference point is accurate or not, and you'll see, I think, why. Because right here, this bisector should intersect all three of these lines, intersect right there. Alright, now we're going to switch to the side, going in the reverse order, just because it's convenient. Bisect here, then grab this edge. I'm folding edge to line. And lastly, bring this edge to this line. I'm going to change this crease to a mountain fold. Okay, now we need to put in a crease that connects this point and this point. It's a bisector that brings this edge to that edge. Or you can just pinch it in, which is what I'm going to do. So just find that point and that point and pinch a new crease. Same thing on the other side. Okay, and now that you have both of these bisectors on both sides, we're going to connect the missing sink pre-crease. So where that pleat intersects that bisector, and where this bisector intersects this vertical crease, we're going to make a new crease. Alright, so you got that and this. Okay, so let's look here. We have the central pleat, which actually we need to pleat in half, but we'll wait to do that. And we have these outer pleats. So we're going to connect point to point in the outer line of those two pleats. Like that. So you see we have two, two, and then the central one. Okay, now I'm going to bring this point to this point, or vice versa. Like that. And then I'm going to fold a bisector through both layers. Like that. Same thing on the other side. Now we are missing the bisector here and here to finish this rabbit ear off. So first, we'll start, just so you can see this corner for a reference, we're bringing this point to this point. And you can fold that here and here. We just made a little square, see? And now we're going to make a bisector from here to there. That's where the crease extends. So I'm just folding like this, finding that point, and finding that point. Connect the dots. So now we've got this rabbit ear and this rabbit ear. There you can see a little better. Alright, same thing, we're going to bring this point to this point. Here's that rabbit ear. And now this point and this point, we're going to connect the dots. Voila. Alright, that is most of the pre-creasing for the whole body area. Let's go ahead and bring our attention down to the tail side. I missed one crease on the tail side. We're going to bring this point, this is the tip of that rear foot, to this point. If you want to make it more clear, you can fold through this pleat again. And we're bringing it to the corner. So we're bringing the tip of the foot here to the corner, or vice versa. This is actually, we're just extending a crease that we made before. Right, and now we can put, if you fold the paper like this, we can do this a little bit faster by simply, we can fold this in half again, like so, and we're going to put a bisector through all 4 of these layers. And all of these layers. Now if you want, you can do each of these one at a time. I'm doing this for the sake of time, to keep the tutorial a little bit shorter, and also because for a practice model, this is pretty much fun. Now I'm finishing off the rabbit ear. Okay, open up. See, we've got those bird bases in there. Alright, pre-creases. You asked for them, so I'm giving them to you. Alright, now we are going to bring our attention up here, where we're going to start to do the head. Now we already pre-creased the head on this pink and blue sheet, and this is how big it was. It was 10 inches. We're working this big here. So that's about 3 inches. So you've got to be good at this before you can do it at 3 inches. Or you can just start with a huge piece of paper if you want to, because folding it this small is pretty hard. So first, we're gonna take this inner row, the row that's a different size, and bisect it. Alright, this is the head side, that's the tail side. This is that little corner here. I'm going to fold the paper in half. I'm going to fold along that edge. Like this. And then I'm going to fold this edge to that edge. And then where these bisectors, this one and this one, intersect this line and this line, I'm going to go across. Like so. Okay, so here's our square that we're going to be working with. I'm going to do all the pre-creases, but I'm not going to explain them because you've already done them on the other sheet. But just remember that this is your square right here, and I'm going to start with a blintz, just like we did before. I'm going to bring all four corners to there. I'm going to zoom in also. You don't actually need the fourth blintz. You only need 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh, I gotta put that crease in. Actually, I'm gonna do it this way, like I said. We can pre-crease those bird bases all at once. We'll start by folding across both boxes, cutting both boxes in half like that. Okay, and then you just do one at a time. So you take this one, and you find the center of the square like that. Actually, this might not be the best way to do it. The best way to do it is like this. So you fold a tiny little water bomb like that. And then we're going to fold a little rabbit ear in there. You get a tiny little bird base. Alright, that's that last pre-crease. Now, this is the fun part. Now, this is the part you don't know how to do. So you've practiced this a bunch of times, and then pre-creasing, that's all easy. The collapse, though, is quite difficult. So I'm going to show you how to do the collapse. And once you have the collapse mastered and you have the head mastered, then you can really fold a beautiful version of this cat. Just so you know, I folded the head about 5 times before I even tried to fold the body. Once I had the head finished, I designed the body afterwards, and I folded the whole model, head and body, a few times, about 3 times, before I folded the one on my website. Okay, so the first step to collapsing is to actually fold this pleat all the way through. Like this. Now, we're actually going to collapse the head first and leave all this flat. So this is just like we did it on the big paper. So you open this up. You make that little flap. Let's do them both at the same time. Bring them together. Just like that. Now, you're going to open this up, push these together. This is all just like we did in the big paper. It's really hard to do when it's small like this, but you guys are really good, so I'm sure you can do it. Okay. So if you don't know what I'm doing, look at the part of the tutorial where I show the head by itself. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting in that one crease that I mentioned earlier. I like to leave for right now. I just finished putting it in, which means I can basically collapse it now. Okay, do you remember that? It was just like this when we folded it with the big paper. Now you have these flaps you can fold in towards the center. Make little cheeks. And you lift this up like that. Then open it up. Make that little squash. Okay, now the impossible part. We'll see if I can do it. We'll see if you can do it. I did it pretty well on this guy. Let's see how well I can do it today while I'm on camera. I think I just remembered that it's actually easier than I showed in the other tutorial. So you see what I did was I see if it can focus. These layers are still overlapped. See, I haven't opened it up there, but by pulling this straight, I can actually collapse it, and I don't ever have to open those layers up. See, I forgot about that. You don't need to open up the bird base in the top there. So I'll show you again. Just have to spread this out evenly, which is the hard part. You can actually start with it. You pull this layer out like that. See, now it's a little 45-degree triangle. And then all right. So that's what you're looking for. So you got the diamond, and then that paper, just like this. All right. All right. Now this is the part. First, we're gonna. I forgot to pre-crease this, but it's no big deal. Just the little rabbit ears that go here. Just gonna bring this edge to here like that. And then bring this edge to here like that. And that'll be this rabbit ear. You actually have to wait to do that. But I'll pre-crease it now. So you bring this edge okay, so I'm just pre-creasing half of a bird base. See those two pre-creases? Okay. So once we've got that collapsed, we're going to start collapsing the body. But my camera is about to run out of batteries, so we'll pause right here, and we'll pick up from here in a few minutes. Okay, now we're going to finish up the collapse of this guy. So basically this model has the structure that it has 4 legs, front legs and back legs. It has this central flap, which is used actually to close the body, because this origami model is unusual in that the bottom is the seam that usually is on the back, and the back is usually the bottom. Usually this is how we shape origami models. So this center flap fills in that hole and makes it closed. And then in the corner we have the tail. Lastly, we have all the head up here. So usually when you do a collapse, you start with the center flaps and then you work your way out. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's begin. All right, where shall we begin from? Let's start by pleating through here, like this. Once that's completed like this, now I'm going to pull out this Elias stretch, like so, on one side, and then go ahead and do it on the other side. This part, you can just do this crease for now. One thing I like about this model is that even though the head is really a pain in the butt and very complicated, at least the body is very simple and easy to bring together. But this part right here, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to roll it like this. This one goes over this one goes over that one. So you have something like that. All these layers are hidden. 1, 2, 3. Okay, just like so. Now over here, we're going to go ahead and fold along all of these creases at once. If you want to, you can do it in 2 steps. You can squash this, then do a petal fold. Alright, and that's that. Now the head. First, start by getting this bisector going, and then we're going to make a very small center flap right here, which isn't used for anything. It's just inevitable center flap that you have to deal with. And now it won't lay flat until I put this bisector in right here, and I'm just going to run that bisector all the way through like that. Even though we don't have that crease, it's good for temporarily moving forward. Alright, so we've got this going on. Like this. Alright, now we've got this crease running straight through. We're going to change that into 2 separate rabbit ears. Like this. I'm just starting with the first one. Like that, see? You just put that crease in. These are all pre-creases, you're not making any new creases. All right, and then finally, I do notice actually that I forgot to put in one small pre-crease. It's not a big deal though. I'll show you which one I forgot in a moment. And so, putting in that one on both sides. Now, this is just like it would be if you didn't have this crazy head. Now, the crease that the pre-crease I forgot to put in was the one that goes from here to right there. A valley fold, there's two of them. So I'm just gonna put that in now using the movement of the paper. See? All right, I just put them in with my thumb by squeezing there. Okay, just like that. And now once that's done, you can put in these creases, which also maybe would have been convenient to pre-crease, but they're the most obvious folds, so it's no surprise that you have to put them in. There they are. So the hardest part about this collapse is really I had to figure out a good way to collapse it and integrate the head with the neck and body. So I remember when I was designing it, I struggled for a while, basically at this stage of the collapse, figuring out how to resolve that integration. Alright, so there we go. So I got put in those rabbit ears on both sides. And I did figure out a pretty cool solution that you will fold right now. So what you got to do is, once you have these two rabbit ears, you're going to fold this backwards like that, and then you'll notice under here that you have this kind of unfamiliar structure. At least I've never seen it before. See, we're looking at this part right here. It's the left side is like a square, and then the right side is a little triangle. So what you have to do is bring this edge, or anyway, this half of this edge to that edge, and this half to that. In other words, just like a water bomb or a reverse fold. And that's going to run a crease. It'll make the ears turn perpendicular to the neck there. And then the paper is kind of confused right here at this point and this point. You just have to make a little crimp like that, see? That little crimp is what you need. But now it's all folded in half. And then you take this, you wrap it around like this. And there we go. Now it's like a cat mask on an origami body. All right, at this point, this is like the base. We're going to try and get to this. There's just really a few folds. And I feel like at this point, I'm going to show you how to do it, but I would be happy if more folders, once they got to this point in the model, they just decided that they would figure it out on their own. Because all you have to do is just do a few reverse folds on the legs, and that's how you finish it. So if you want it to look exactly like the one that I made, I'll show you how to do that, all right? First, let me deconstruct this guy. So the first step is to bisect this, and then shift the layers so that you get something like this, like that. And then this part, you either can mountain fold it or squash it. Okay, just like that. For the front arm, we're going to just shift this layer. And then we're going to just make a little pleat that brings it slightly forward. And then once you bring it slightly forward, you just do a little rabbit ear to create that section of the arm and put it forward, like so. And now with the back leg, you're going to swing this vertical line up. Actually, we have to do this first. We have to get rid of some of this paper. This is the inside of the tail, or of the center flap. We have to do spread squashes. And then this paper, we're going to just put mountain folds, or valley folds, sorry, like this on both sides. Okay, let's fold this guy back in half. Whoops, I put it the wrong way. Right now, this leg. So as I was saying before, you swing it up, swing this vertical line up like that. And then you do a little swivel to angle to make the knee. and then you fold it back forward like that. And then you can make a little foot if you want. A lot of different ways you can shape it. Depending on how big the paper is, you can put more or less detail in. And now this paper right here, we're going to mount and fold it behind like that. Alright, that's one leg right there. And that's this leg here. He just needs a little foot also. Now, the back leg, we do like this, so he's reaching backwards, because that's the kind of position the cat takes when he's walking. So, for this one, you don't, instead of tipping the vertical line all the way up, you tip it to about there, and then you repeat the same procedure. There we go. I forgot which one it was. Like that. Alright, now we're going to like that. So this leg is pointing back like that. And now the front leg is something like this. Goes straight back. You make a little mountain fold here and here to make it shorter and kind of emphasize the shoulder a little bit. You shape it a little bit, give it a little foot, however you want to. Like I said, there's a much more careful way to shape the foot, but at this size, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so there he's walking, see? These ones go back, and these ones go forward. Now, here's how we do the back. This part is pretty cool. You take this flap, and then let me show you on this one. You fold it straight up like this. So you put a mountain fold through the middle of the flap, and two 45-degree angle creases, which makes the flap stand up perpendicular, like this. And then you do a little reverse fold, and then you mountain fold over the edges like so. And what this does, it makes the rear end of the cat kind of wide and strong, and the front slender and sleek. You mountain fold over the shoulders like this. Ideally, this flap can go a little bit further if you can do this a little more efficiently. Get a little bit more paper. There we go. Now the tail, I just fold it out like this and then up like this. Oh, that's right. This is part I forgot to. You got to mount and fold these papers over to make the tail thinner. Now, the tail is just a little bit too long, so I just mount and fold a little bit of it over like that. And now you can give the tail a little bit of a curve, like so. All right, now as for the head, all the details are here. The goal is to pull out the eye from right there. You kind of pull it out and you make a little squash there, and then you can see the eye better. It's too small to do it with this paper. And here's the most important crease. You make a mountain fold that goes, this little cheek triangle, you want to go right through that, about in half. And then, here, I'll show you on this one. See, it goes like that on both sides, and then you just take all this up and in, like that. You hide all that paper, it makes it look like he has that little smile, which is very recognizable for cats. Then you mount and fold over the tip of the flap like that. The ears will just come forward like that. It's pretty simple, just very subtle. So it takes a few tries to get it right. You have to be patient. Alright, that is it. That's all you have to do for this model. This is a really tough one, and I debated myself whether or not to make a tutorial for it, and I feel that I've really given you in this tutorial everything you need to make the model, but if you want to make it beautiful, you have to practice, and you have to kind of play with it yourself. You have to make it your own, because that's like complex level origami. You really need to do that if you want to make it beautiful. So I hope you had fun, and if you can complete this model, please send me a photograph of it. I'd really like to see your rendition. So good luck. Thanks. Bye.